Boa noite, gente. E aí, Gu, tudo bem? Eita, já tem uma nova missão. Eu acho que hoje começou, né, gente? Ó, vamos lá. Hoje é Kamisato, tá? Resgata. Ó, hoje já iniciou, tá? Os de aniversário, né? Então vamos resgatar, ó, 400 gemas e o petzinho. Que bonitinho. Já vou colocar, vai combinar com a... Eita, tem mais coisa que eu não peguei. Mora. Também tô vendo. Já vou colocar, porque ele é muito bonitinho, acho que vai combinar com a Yelan. Ai, gente, é super afurina isso, hein? Vocês viram? Vocês viram que deu assim uma vazadinha aí? Eu tô até com medo de falar sobre vazamentos, porque a Royal tá barrando um monte de gente aí, tá? Gustavo, a gameplay da Furina é a minha preferida das Archons. Depois dá uma olhadinha lá no meu Twitter que você vai ver. É muito boa. Assim, maravilhosa. Sensacional. Oi, Luan, tudo bem? Eu tô com um negócio aqui dos drops. Ignora. Oi, Laura, tudo bem? Agora sim eu estou vendo as mensagens. Oi, Laura, tudo bem? O altar da loba? Como assim o altar da loba? Daqui. Entendi. Ai, ai. Vou usar cada minuto do meu tempo para ganhar gemas agora. Sim, veja, veja. Tudo bem, Laura? Eu não tava vendo sua mensagem? Porque tava com o negócio do drops ativados ali, tá? Laura, você vai querer fazer diárias? Ou já quer entrar no meu mundo pra fazer... Como é que fala? Gente, como é que fala? Não, tô preso na missão. Tá. Não, pra fazer os domínios. Fazer domínio é importante, né? Bom, então vou fazer as diárias aqui. Lembrei agora, eu não consigo entrar no seu mundo. Putz.
This isn't good. If the rain washes away the traces, it's
Poxa vida.
a long way.
Let's go.
Vamos colocar a Cushing porque ela já tá boa. A Cushing já tá maravilhosa, tá nível 80, nem tem arma direito. E já tá tancando os bichos, gente. Essa vai... Eu vou ser main Cushing. Daqui a pouco.
Quietly now.
Incoming. The doctor was stealing it. No, my sword. Don't blink. With sword comes shadow.
Oi, Lucas, tudo bem? Derrotar monstros de novo.
The doctor was stealing it.
Time to act. Busted. Witness the power.
Incoming. Speed of light. Hey! Got lucky that time.
Mind the side effects. A bitter pill.
Incoming.
Quietly now.
Don't blink.
Mind the side effects.
Incoming. Nowhere to hide.
A bitter pill to swallow. Mind the...
Let me weave you a verse.
Speed of light.
Nossa, eu vou ficar aqui meia hora, né? Mas eu não vou usar isso agora, então... Dane-se! Vamos ver. Costa. Ai, gente, tô gostando tanto da Cushing. Ai, aqui é melhor fogo. Esquece. Só porque eu falei que eu tô gostando dela, eu vou ter que tirar ela.
I charge a higher. Motion to compel. Yeah.
A gameplay da Charlotte também é boa, hein, gente? É da hora ela.
bitter pill to swallow.
Incinerate! The doctor was singing.
No, my sword!
Motion to
Mind the side effects.
E aí, gente, o que vocês me contam de novo? Será que o Gustavo já viu as gameplays? Não viu ainda, Gon?
Busted!
The doctor was singing.
Rain outlines your fate. No, my sword! Rain cutter!
Boom boom!
Mind the side effects.
Boom boom! The doctor was singing.
Tá visível? Como assim?
Quietly now.
Motion to compel.
Se meu Instagram tá visível?
Incinerate!
Body and...
A bitter pill to swallow.
Não foi proibido? Então, foi, mas eu postei algumas coisas agora. Eu acho que...
The doctor was singing.
Time to act. Busted.
Taking a turn for the better.
Let me weave you a burst. Game's up. Fun's over.
Mind the side effects.
Boom boom!
Mas eu postei algumas coisas agora. Eu acho que tá visível sim. Pronto, já terminei. Foi tudo de... Ai, amei as diárias de hoje.
Let's go get ourselves some answers.
Something's come up?
Wait for my signal.
Ai. Eu esqueci. Tem que ativar. Implanta.
Add Astra. Thank you for
Pronto. Terminamos diárias. Vamos ver o que a gente precisa fazer. Hoje era pra upar os talentos da bonitona. Eu acho que só, né? Apesar de um monte dourado, eu acho que eu vou fazer só dele hoje. Gente, cadê? Eu tô perdido. Aqui. Meu Deus, tá na minha cara o lugar e eu não tava achando. Vamos lá. Isso daqui eu acho que eu tenho o suficiente. Vamos fazer isso daqui. Vou com esse time mesmo, que esse time eu sei que tá muito bom.
Solidify!
I see everything!
Right now, right here, right now.
Can't see?
Pay your dues.
Gather!
Right here.
And shroud! You can't run from death. You can't run from death.
Maravilhoso. Vamos de fazer mais.
Stabilize!
Emerge. Right now. Right here. Emerge. Right here.
Solidify! I hear everything!
Right now.
Everyone hold hands!
Pior que eu testei esse time do abismo e não tancou aqueles bichos enormes não, viu? Eu fiquei chocado, aqueles Eidolons. Gente, quanta vida tem aqueles bichos? Eu não sei que time que tem que ir, até agora. Você aí que sabe, me fala. Porque eu não sei.
Stabilize!
I see everything!
Can't see? Keep up!
Emerge. Right here.
Solidify!
Everyone hold hands!
And shroud! Can't run from death. You can't run from death.
Vamos ver. Fazer mais uma vez. O Genshin te obrigou, Gustavo?
Keep up!
Enviar as mensagens?
Gather!
Tudo por
I never
recompensa.
did. Right now,
Tá
right
tudo
here.
certo, eu faço a mesma coisa.
Stabilize.
See? Let's nip that in the butt.
Nossa, veio um drop dourado. Chateado, viu? Chateado. Ah, consigo fazer 6 pelo menos. Quantos que eu preciso mesmo? Acho que eram 4 dourados. Não, são 8 mesmo. Poxa vida, Yelan. Consigo 6 aqui. E 2 aqui. Pronto, deu. Menos mal. E aí eu vou precisar de quantos desse? Insígnia de oficial. Quantos mesmo? Tenho 7, então precisa de 5. Pronto. Yelan upado até o talo. O especial, né? Agora eu quero ver quanto que ela vai dar. Precisa de 9. Ixi, nem a pau, eu consigo fazer um só. Poxa, Yelan. Deixa eu ver. $60, eu uso 40. Não. Eu vou ver se as minhas... Se as minhas lápis fáceis assim, rapidonas, já renasceram.
I trust you.
Porque se elas renasceram... Vamos preparar os cartões de crédito para a Furina. Vamos. Vamos, porque ela tá... Nossa, tá pra ser a minha arconte preferida, hein? De gameplay. Eu queria até testar o Nevilete de novo pra ver se eu tenho as mesmas críticas. Sabe? Porque, gente... Aquele negócio, teve gente que amou... E gente que detestou. Entra no Twitter, Gu. Eu postei bastante coisa agora. Pô. Faz 1 hora, eu acho que não bloquearam ainda. Ai, gente, eu achei bonitinho esse... Uma lulinha, sei lá o que é isso. Não, o Nevilete é muito forte. Só que a gameplay não é atrativa. Pra mim, voltando pra mim. Entendeu? Mas ele, na lore, a história é muito boa. Quero ver a missão lendária dele. Missão lendária deve estar belíssima. Onde que é aquele lugar que tem um monte de lápis? Acho que tinha 4. Será? Eu peguei ontem, alguém lembra? Eu peguei ontem. Ah, vem aqui, ó. Peguei ontem. Então, tá bom. Quantas lápis faltam? Só 58, só. Acho que bloquearam. Nossa, gente. Já bloquearam? Poxa. Tá. Já que não tem como pegar lápis, vamos fazer a missão Legendary. Deixa eu já ajustar minha equipe. Por quê? Porque se eu tiver que jogar com o Linney, eu quero o Double Pyro, né? O time... Ou melhor, Monopyro, né? Que é o melhor time pra ele. Em tese. Aí eu vou querer esse time pra ele. Então vamos fazer a missãozinha do Linney.
Over here.
Lynette's not joining us today?
I've had her follow Gemma and see if we can make any inroads with her. They should be at a cafe right now. Still, I don't think that Gemma's likely to open up to us. So, we need a contingency plan. Today, we'll be looking into a guy named Lorenzo, Caesar's former pupil and assistant. When Caesar passed away, all the stolen goods discovered in his home were confiscated and returned to their rightful owners. But Lorenzo was the only one privy to all his magic secrets, and he inherited his craft. Before long, Lorenzo was the next big magician in town, his fame surpassing even that of his master, and it made him very wealthy. He's since left the magic scene, though, and these days, he's a wealthy businessman with his fingers in a lot of different pies. I had to pull a lot of strings, but I managed to get him to agree to a couple of drinks with me. Be warned, though, I hear he's got a hair-triggered temper. We'd best be careful.
Então vamos lá. Pera aí, deixa eu só... Entrar no negócio aqui, gente.
I haven't been out in a while.
We cannot just rely on the ocean's self-cleaning ability.
Bom, depois eu vejo isso. Tem que entrar aqui. Nossa, que lugar bonito, eu nunca entrei aqui.
You neglected to mention that you were bringing 2 other people with you.
My apologies. These 2 are my assistants. When they heard that I was meeting with the former Magic Maestro himself, they begged and pleaded with me to bring them along. And if it's no trouble, a couple of autographs would really make their day.
Oh, forget the pleasantries, just sit.
Que velho grosseiro, vocês viram? Que horror. Ai, não importa, senta logo.
Get a load of this guy. Forget the pleasantries, he says, but he looks pretty happy about Linney stroking his ego.
I only agreed to meet since we're both magicians. Do me a favor and cut to the chase. I have more important things to do than drinking.
Much obliged, sir. As it happens, the matter I want to address is also related to magic. Yesterday morning, a warning letter from the Phantom Weasel appeared on the entrance to the Opera House. He claims to be planning something for the same evening that I'm scheduled to do a magic show there. As such, I believe that I may well be his target. I have to get to the bottom of this to ensure that my show can go ahead as planned. Naturally, any investigation into the Weasel starts with a few questions about Caesar, who...
What is there to investigate? Caesar was the Weasel and he's been dead for 10 years. So what if some sick creep thought it'd be funny to write a warning letter? It changes nothing.
Please, sir, no need to get so worked up. I do concede that a copycat is but one possibility.
Possibility? It's a fact, Linney. Look, my patience is limited, so listen carefully while I'm still willing to put up with you. The Weasel is dead. Period. Everyone knows that, so do yourself a favor and quit this investigation. It'll...
Oh, sir, I'm honored, really. But this isn't about finances for me. My pride as a magician is what's at stake here, Lorenzo. Copycat or not, this person has thrown me the gauntlet, and I must meet their challenge head-on.
Your pride? Don't mince words with me, boy. Just tell me, what exactly are you seeking to...
I want to find out the Phantom Weasel's true identity.
What would that accomplish? And what do the events of 10 years ago have to do with you, anyway? Look, you of all people should know that a magician never reveals their secrets. And in any case, dead men don't talk.
Que horror.
This is getting awkward.
Nossa, que...
Lorenzo? Is that? Oh, it is you! I know that big...
Another day, I'm busy.
Oh, come on! You can't be all business all the time. You know
Meu
what
Deus,
they
ele tá
say?
muito bêbado, cara.
If I wanted your life advice, I'd ask for it. Now get out of my face and...
Sorry, my good sir. I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Oh, hey! Edmondo. He and
Linney
our
foi
business
espertinho
pals
ali,
worked
hein?
together a bunch of times. This is your first time meeting him? Oh, he's always like this. Foul-mouthed and hard-nosed. And he wonders why he can't get a girlfriend, despite being... What?
Shut
Meu
up
Deus.
and get out of my face. Another word out of you and you can forget about doing business with me ever.
Rejeitadíssimo, Lorenzo.
Sorry, I may have had a little too much to drink.
Sorry.
I'm gonna leave. Don't worry.
I think it's high time I made a move as well. If you really want to investigate this, Linney, be my guest. But if nothing good comes of it, don't say I didn't warn you.
Grosso.
Well, that fell to pieces in a rather spectacular fashion. Any thoughts?
Totally. And what was all that about compensating you for your losses? Why would someone you just met make an offer like that? He's gotta be hiding something. And not like Gemma. She was a little suspicious, but this guy's definitely covering something up.
I think so too. We need to look into Lorenzo more closely. That guy Edmondo seems to know a thing or two about him. He only just left. Let's see if we can catch up with him.
Agora eu lembrei, acho que é melhor eu colocar o Zonk aqui. Quando eu lutar, que o Linney é de ataque carregado. Acho que é mais importante, né, pra ele ficar protegido. Inclusive, eu vi que na gameplay do Neuvillette é importante ter o Zhongli, né, no fim das contas. Ele pode levar strike quando ele tá dando o carregado. Então quem
You
pegou
okay
aí
there?
Zhongli e Neuvillette tá
Who
salvo.
are you?
Quem não quer
Oh,
ser um
you
do
guys.
Neuvillette, né?
Don't worry about me. I must have had one too many. I just need to ride it out. I said way too much back there, didn't I? Yeah, I nearly talked myself
Não
into
percebeu?
complete financial ruin.
Eu mesmo, quando eu tava fazendo o
Note to
teste, eu
self, no
levei
more drunken
hit.
chats when Lorenzo's around.
So he was serious about threatening to cut you off? Paimon,
Hey! Keep your voice. Don't go prying into Lorenzo's personal affairs. Bad things happen to people who ask too many questions.
Eita, meu
Make an
Deus.
enemy out of him.
What kind of bad
Não,
things?
Go, tipo, o Neuvillette levar o hit,
I'm
entendeu?
sorry. I'm gonna have to cut this conversation short. I'm not crossing that line again. And take it from me.
Aí ele
trouble with
cai
Lorenzo is
do
one
carregado.
thing you don't need in your life. You saw him flare up back there. I don't know what you said to him, but clearly it touched a nerve. That's not a good sign. You're too young for this. Don't get...
and there he goes.
Shh. I think we're being watched. Someone was listening in to our whole Don't say anything and don't look back. Any altercation in the city will attract the guards. We'd better take this elsewhere.
Single, mas se você leva dano de algum outro personagem durante seu carregado, você cai. Mesma coisa do Escaramuche.
You followed us a long way. Why don't you come out and introduce yourselves?
So you're Linney.
É,
And
então,
where's your
mas
sister?
pode
Ain't
acontecer
she with you
sim.
today? Save us the trouble and go fetch her for us. Let's not drag this out.
Patino.
Doesn't like the tone of your voice, mister. Who sent you, huh?
Save your questions, missy.
Looks like we can't have... Now, I'm not the strongest fighter, so I...
Don't worry, we got this.
Ai, agora a gente vai fazer a gameplay com o Linney. Vamos lá, ele tá com a arma assinatura, tudo bonitinho. Ah, e só os artefatos que tá tudo cagado, né? Tá. Talentos e tudo. Ah, quando ele faz os talentos bonitinhos. Calma. Que isso?
Now disappear!
Incinerate!
Solidify!
Step right up!
Ah, é primeiro carregado, depois o R2. Nossa, ele é forte, hein?
Curses. They're tougher than we thought.
Vision wielders are always trouble. Intimidation ain't gonna work like...
Come on, let's scram!
Hey, wise guys, we ain't through with you yet. Oh, they got away. Did you catch what they
Ameaçar
said?
uma
Sounds
mulher.
like they just wanted to rough us up as a scare tactic. You're right. She was injured when we... Maybe she was too scared to tell...
Será que ela foi
Well,
ameaçada?
if that's the
A
case,
Jenna,
she should be more
Gemma,
willing to
sei lá.
open up to us once she learns that those thugs won't be bothering her anymore. Let's head back to the cafe and...
Vamos pegar essa plantinha aqui.
Gemma?
You again.
We just ran into the men who've been threatening you, and so you could.
What? Why?
Sounds like they're no...
That's putting it mildly. I know them all. It's been 10 long years. And still, every time I try to look into Caesar's death, they show up and warn me not to do any. How do I know I can trust you? Do you
I'm afraid I can't reveal all the details just yet, but I can promise you this. I will expose the Phantom Weasel's true identity. Because you see, this is a personal...
Okay.
I've heard that Caesar used to have a magic workshop where he kept a lot of his personal effects. If possible, I'd like to take a look at them. Do you know where it is?
The Fleuve Sonde. But the place was sealed up by the police after his death, and
Cadê o Lua?
no one's
Cadê o
been there
Lua?
since. I also know that the Fleuve Sonde is dangerous territory. Lots of hostile groups lurking around. If you're serious about going there, please be careful.
Understood. Lynette, you stay here and take care of Gemma. Don't let her come to harm.
Got it. But if I'm staying here, I'm ordering dessert.
I mean, bon appetit. But stay sharp, too.
Bon appetit,
They're likely to
baby.
come for you while I'm away.
Okay. All right. Power saving mode off.
Entra aqui na oficina mágica de César. Ah, é embaixo.
If Gemma gave us the right location, then the workshop should be right nearby. Huh. Looks like these boxes are blocking the entrance. There we go. It should be just down here.
Ah, e o negócio mexe.
Nothing suspicious here, just normal magic props. Let's head in further. What was that? Oh.
Que horror.
Is this one of Caesar's gadgets? Guess we must have triggered some sort of device.
Ataque as bonecas para imobilizarem. Nossa, ele é muito forte.
The doll in the box is glowing. There's something written on the card on this doll. Let's take a closer look.
Eu preciso dar comidinha pra ele, senão ele vai morrer. Ah, será que ele morre? Acho que ainda não. Mas tudo bem. Ah, ele é muito bonitinho. Eu gostei do Linney.
These magic boxes are moving. What do we do?
One of them looks different from the rest. Let's investigate.
Tá. Lista de desejos.
That's weird. Have we reached the end already? There's nothing here. Maybe this was a wasted trip.
This place seems a little too ordinary for a magician's workshop. We've triggered quite a few devices on the way here. I'm starting to wonder whether Caesar built this whole place as one big... If so, then there must be more to this place than meets the eye. Maybe a hidden room somewhere. Aha! If I just move this book, then hopefully... And... presto!
A secret passageway! How did you know?
I'm a magician too, and apparently great minds really do think alike. Looks pretty big inside. Let's head in and take a look around.
Pera aí. Meu time vai ficar bem fontainesco. Ai, vai sim. E não está errado. Os personagens de Fontaine são...
Now disappear.
São maravilhosos. O nível desse nadando é a coisa mais linda que eu já vi. Parece aquela lontrinha, né? Do próprio jogo. Ai, gente, olha. A jogabilidade dele é muito da hora.
Solidify!
Everybody stand back!
And voila! A round of applause! Step right up.
Olha isso, ele é muito forte.
Why have you stopped, Linney? Is there some device in that box?
Huh. It just looks familiar somehow. Let me check this out for a second while you guys go on ahead. If anyone makes a major...
All right, see you in a bit.
The placement of this device inside.
Adventure time.
Ative todas as pedras mágicas. Ah, tá. Aqui já caguei tudo, tá.
Seems like we can't step on the same tile twice. Guess we've got to finish it in one run, huh?
Acho que é pra esse lado primeiro, né? Não, ó. Ah, por pouco eu não consegui. Ou será que é desse lado primeiro? Não, faltaram aquelas. Não, caguei tudo. Vamos lá, tudo de novo. Assim. Eu acho que eu tenho que parar naquela que tá mudando do meio, não é?
Osmanthus.
Será? Eu tava dentro, por que que dá e não dá de novo? Que saco! Mas eu acho que era algo assim. Não, não. Eu acho que eu tenho que começar por uma das pontas, não é? Oi, Rô, boa noite. O que eu fiz de errado? Eu não entendi o que eu fiz de errado. Ai, que saco! Eu com certeza não teria paciência pra isso. Eu acho que eu tenho que ficar no meio e ser guiado, gente. Não é possível. Eu tenho que chegar... Ó. Acho que eu tenho que fazer isso daqui. Aquela do meio tem que vir pra cá. Não é? Aí eu finalizar aqui. Não, ó, senão eu vou pisar aqui de novo. Não, não é isso. Você está pisando... Eu sei que eu tô pisando. Pode andar fora do caminho. Não pode. Não pode. Ó, se eu pisar fora, fecha tudo. Não pode pisar fora. Tirar tudo se eu conseguisse pular pra cá. Tem que começar por aqui. Esperar essa vir pra cá. Fazer assim. Eu acho que eu vou ter que deixar uma solta daqui. Uma do caminho solta. Aí eu pulo. Porque não é possível. Oi, Pedro, tudo bem? Ó, aqui, ó, deveria ter deixado aquela solta, tá vendo? Pena que tá longe aquelas duas, ó. Tá, mas se eu pular, rola. Que horas são no Brasil? 10h30. Mas ia dar certo, eu acho. Foi. Aqui são 2h36. E segunda eu começarei a escola. Olha, desculpe ser sincero, mas você vai sofrer um pouquinho no começo, hein? Mas depois, né? O sono. O sono vai te conduzir pro lado certo, mas tenta se ajustar.
At one of my shows a few days ago, a child asked me how I pulled candy out of as a joke. I told the kid that the hat has a built-in wish-granting machine. Next thing I know, today a whole... So I told them another white lie. The machine needs time to power up, but in the meantime, you can write your wishes down.
Another white lie.
Well, they took me up on that offer. I wound up saving very little this month. But that's not a... Two children came to talk to me after today's show. I don't know why they were out on their own. They looked much too young to be unsupervised. I do hope they got home safely. Anyway, they said that they wanted me to teach them how to do magic. It's not uncommon for children to ask this, of course, but I told them that learning magic is very hard work. But that didn't faze them at all. It's like they already knew. It seems like something's bothering Lorenzo lately. Surely he's not upset that I agreed to teach those two children. I'll have to talk him around. I have a good feeling about those kids. They're naturally talented, and it seems like they're not...
É o Linney e a Linney?
They have all sorts of fantastic ideas. They wanted to call me Master, but I told them they absolutely mustn't. Any magician with time, I have no doubt that they could become far greater magicians.
É o Linney e a Linney, hein, gente?
My own Gemma thinks so too. She doesn't like being around them. Says that their eyes are too piercing. It's nearly time for me to go on tour. I asked the two kids if they'd like to come with me, but they shook their heads. I once overheard them talking about their father and their mission. Sounds like their parents have... It's only been 10 days since I first met them. They're very tough, but also very cautious. And they hide things from me too. For example, when I asked them where they live and why they wanted to learn magic, that's the thing about children. Whenever they're I can sense that their lives have been hard, possibly even dangerous. After thinking things over, I decided to tell them a bit about how I see the world. It's full of lies and P.S. I hope they won't find my nagging annoying. Children are so opinionated nowadays. Will it do them more harm than good for someone they've only known 10 days to lecture them like that? P.P.S. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Children aren't interested in grand philosophies. It probably just went in one... Oh, Caesar, Caesar. Just mind your own business next time.
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about Linney and Lynette, don't you think? So did they meet Caesar when they were kids? Let's go ask Linney.
Amanhã já podia ser férias, né? Por favor, seria meu sonho.
Hold that thought. As I expected, there's a lot of fishy things going on in this place.
Fishy?
All in good time. Before we go over our new leads, I want to tell you how a high-altitude escape is... First, the magician slots themselves into a magic box in full view of the audience. The box is then suspended high in the air, and a short while later, the base automatically opens. At this point, a dummy will fall out of the box, but it looks real enough to grab the audience's attention, and they... Meanwhile, the real magician, who has by now blended into the crowd, waits for a good moment to make their appearance and put on a hysterical... Oh no! Is that me? Did I just fall to my death?
Very vivid description. Paimon can really picture it.
The audience's gaze then turns to the magician, and by the time they realize what's happened, the dummy has vanished, as if everything that just happened was some sort of shared illusion. Of course, that's just how I think the process should work, theoretically speaking. The inventor of this trick never performed it successfully. When the box opened, Caesar was the one who fell out, and not the dummy. He fell right to the ground from the highest point of the opera house. No one could hope to survive that fall. Not without a vision, at least. And no one else has ever attempted this trick since. My understanding of how it works is just based on what I could gather from his notes, and...
So Caesar's famous high-altitude escape has never been done, huh? Paimon was about to say how cool it would have been to see it in person, but if it's that dangerous, it's probably for the best that no one else tries to do it. Wait a second. So if a dummy's supposed to drop out of the box, then where does the real magician go? How does he get out?
Glad you asked. That brings us to the secret of said box. This box right here is the one that Caesar constructed himself to use in the performance, and it's not as simple as it looks. Once the magician's inside, and the box is lifted up into the air, the audience's view of the box is fixed at a certain angle. From where they're standing, they have a clear view of the front, sides, and bottom, but the back and the top are now no longer visible. At this point, the magician presses a button inside the box, opening a secret door out of view. He then escapes through this trapdoor onto the opera house roof, waits for the dummy to fall and distract the audience, and quietly returns to ground level.
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined. Even Paimon could probably do it.
Well, there's a little more to it than that, of course. The hardest part of this trick is controlling the audience's mood and reactions. That takes an exceptional degree of showmanship. There's the falling dummy, the miraculous reappearance, the pompous performing. Maybe the magician would even have themselves tied up before it begins to strengthen the impression that there's no escape. Many days and nights of careful research and painstaking practice would have gone into this, all culminating in a performance just a few minutes long, but one that still manages to transform the shock and grief of a tragic accident to the joy and laughter of a mesmer. Caesar was a highly accomplished magician, but unfortunately...
So, how did it go so wrong? You said you found some fishy stuff here. Have you figured out what really happened?
I can make a pretty good guess. I looked into the case files. The magic box Caesar was using at the time of his death had the secret button I mentioned positioned on the right-hand side.
Okay.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here, which leads me to believe that Caesar was in fact left-handed. Because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. People naturally focus their attention, but a magician needs to be able to redirect an audience's attention at will, so as to avoid arousing their suspicion. The essence of magic is getting people to believe a lie. If even the truth raises eyebrows, the falsehoods become all the more difficult to mask. And so, Caesar trained himself to use his right hand to align with his audience's expectations. But in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, reflex would kick in and he'd use his left hand. That's why he set his gadgets with the mechanism on his left. Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, retrieve the dummy, then open the secret door and make a swift escape. But I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point where it was second nature. So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With his left hand, he reached for the button, and suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. It wasn't there. Much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, his mind needed a moment to process what was going on. Instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button, maybe for another second or two. With the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him everything. The authorities would find nothing suspicious and conclude that his death was due to his own error.
When in reality, someone switched the boxes. But how would they be able to make the switch without being noticed? That would be difficult to pull off, no?
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed, and who could move his props around without arousing suspicion. Someone who was always by his side. Isn't that right, Lorenzo?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs lie, could you?
Era o próprio Lorenzo.
There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. I didn't want to have to do this, you know. Silencing you the hard way just creates more problems for me to deal with. But I gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do what's good for you and back off like the lady, but you disappoint me.
You mean Gemma? So you...
Yes, although however stubborn she might be, she was never... Which is why you can't leave this place alive.
Stabilize!
Here comes the finale!
Gather!
I'm going in!
And voila!
Meu Deus, ele é muito forte.
Had enough yet, Lorenzo? Your cronies can't... I think it's high time you started talking, and what I...
If I had a mora for every time you said that man's name. Of course you idolized Caesar, everyone else did. He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made magic into the fine art it is today.
So it was jealousy.
Jealousy. Hatred, more like. He poured everything into his street performances and his stupid tours like it was just a hobby to him. But the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely
Que cara invejoso.
broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, master. He forbade me from using magic to trick people out of their mora. And with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I had to kill him. There was no...
And this was your only...
It was reason enough.
Well, I was under the impression that there might have been other factors at play. For instance, maybe you...
In love with Gemma, don't be...
Guess I was wrong about that then. Next question. Are you the Phantom Weasel?
I am. Caesar was so strict with me. He insisted that I never bought into any of that. I was more interested in the practical value of magic.
Oh, yeah! Charlotte told us that the weasel would steal whatever people valued, no matter how...
That's just how it looked from the outside. What would any thief want with second-rate loot? I've only ever targeted high-value items. I stole cheap things as a way of practicing my craft. It was other people's overactive imagination.
So, that's the story, huh? Well, I hope you're ready to tell it all over again during your trial.
What choice do I have? You're a pack of wolves, and you've got me between you. So be it. I've enjoyed power and wealth for the last 10 years. The likes of which Caesar...
Very well. Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorenzo for me.
At least I can finally...
Acho que não tem mais nenhum, né?
Off we go.
Linney has told me the whole story. Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar and...
Look who's... What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Linney? Should we start preparing for your show?
Let me think. Let's rendezvous with Lynette and Gemma first. With Lorenzo in custody, Gemma will no longer have to fear for her safety.
Good point! We should go tell Gemma the good news right away!
Ah, you're back. You were so quick. I've only just finished my third dessert.
Your third? Lynette, come on, we've talked...
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog off the excess sugar.
That's besides the point. Well...
Point.
Did everything go okay?
Of course! Lorenzo was no match for us. The guards are taking him in...
Gosh, that's amazing. I'm sorry. I still didn't know if I could trust you. I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but I...
It's okay. We understand. He did threaten you, but you don't need to be scared anymore. Everything's gonna be okay.
Sorry. Sorry. My emotions are all over the place right now. I always wanted to report Lorenzo. He took all of Caesar's property, which I found suspicious. But I had people watching me all the time. I was so afraid. I was scared he'd do something terrible to me. And then no one would be left to visit Caesar's grave. Thank you all. Truly.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name. I never would have guessed that Lorenzo was the real Phantom Weasel. He never showed any signs that they were... to think that lowlife's been living life to the fullest all this time, while Caesar's name was getting... At least his soul can finally rest in peace now, thanks to your efforts.
If only I'd realized.
Don't blame yourself, Gemma. This isn't your fault.
Yeah, you still have the rest of your life to live. Caesar wouldn't want to see you spending it feeling guilty.
Cheer up, Gemma. My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. Would you like... This show will be a special one. We're holding it in Caesar's honor.
In Caesar's honor?
Thank you. Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Traveler, Paimon, don't be late.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way are we gonna miss out... Wait. Paimon feels like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah! Caesar's diary! We never found...
Vamos finalizar isso. Finalzinho, né? É, por ser uma missão de lendária, até que não foi
Not
longa.
this time. My brother, so I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope the great magician Linney has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight, concluding with an all-new grand...
Thank you all so much for coming. Now, prepare to join me on a journey through the mystical and miraculous.
Exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes, it's just...
No wonder. So, how did you two first...
Well, I was out on the street once, and children love magic, because they're willing to believe in things that can't be rationally explained. Caesar had this amazing... and somehow, I felt drawn to him too. So, I went up and asked him to do a trick for me.
Aw, that sounds so...
It was with a flower. He took it in his hand.
Que fofa.
I was so happy that day.
É o mesmo
No one
truque
had ever
que o
given me a flower
Linney
before
faz,
that.
né?
Oh, that's so cute!
Is that right? Then I suppose he's a romantic at heart. After all, you never know when the people dearest to you might be gone.
That's right. Paimon doesn't really know how to comfort you, but...
Right. Yes, you can breathe easy now. Phantom Weasel.
See? Even Lynette says... Wait, what? The Phantom Weasel? Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
What do you mean?
As Linney once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role and put on a flawless performance for their audience. But once the bag of tricks is empty and the curtain falls, it's time to end the show. The spotlight is no place for someone with no more cards up their sleeve. It's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act? I think it's time to put an end to it.
What are you talking about? Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going. Come on, say something!
Como assim,
Ladies
gente?
and gentlemen, I hope there will now be a brief intermission, after which Linney will... The final performance will take place outside of the Opera House.
The Phantom Weasel never did like public places, did they? Don't worry, this place will be quiet soon. Let's talk somewhere else for...
Como assim, gente? Como assim? Como assim? Como assim? Como assim? Como assim? Nossa, em Fontaine a gente não pode acreditar nas histórias que estão acontecendo. É isso? É isso? Entendi.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so I'm afraid this is a big mistake for a magician to make. But
Linney? Don't we have more important things to address right now? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment ago. Oh, what the heck's going on?
all in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking.
Really? Well then...
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine, She never missed a target, never left a trace. But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long she found her ticket to freedom. She would create a scapegoat, a false weasel to close the chapter on her behalf. After weighing her options, she set her sights on a renowned magician, Caesar. After all, magic and theft shared enough similarities for...
So being the master deceiver she was, the weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. Now all that remained was to frame him for her countless crimes. But as she was considering how to make her move, she noticed Caesar's aggrieved pupil, and a new thought entered her mind. At her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box, causing him to fall to his death. Afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. Two co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. You're both exceptional storytellers. It's enough to make even me wonder whether there was really another mastermind behind all this. But I just have one question. You seem to think that I am the villain in this tale.
Don't worry, Lorenzo said nothing at all. But I never believed that he was the weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with his confession.
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me? Even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have no doubt that you, Gemma, are equally talented. With a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. The lovesick fiancé, whose devotion to her betrothed is... Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Everyone sympathized with your plight. Who would suspect for 1 second that the lovely young lady always seen weeping in front of Caesar's grave was actually the mastermind behind his demise?
Wait, so you mean the whole intimidation thing was just a hoax? Gemma and Lorenzo were both in on it? But why would Lorenzo agree to that? And why didn't he sell her out even if...
Yes, why indeed? Maybe Gemma herself could enlighten us on that question.
Well, Linney, if you're so confident in your version of events, having killed Caesar with his own hands, Lorenzo was plagued by overwhelming guilt. Revealing the Phantom Weasel's true identity would serve no purpose. But if the Weasel remained free, then she could take care of Lorenzo's loved ones.
An excellent answer.
Is that right? Well, don't let me bore you. If you'd care to change the topic to something more interesting...
As a matter of fact, there's one. Why would the real weasel have targeted things that only have value to other...
Of course. After all, if I had to guess, I would say that the real weasel must have had a terrible childhood. Left to fend for herself after her parents died young. She'd scrounge waste paper from garbage bins to draw on, using twigs and dirt for lack of... This was her only source of happiness in life. But once again, she was betrayed. And this time, everything was taken from her. She felt like life was... This was a fate too cruel for anyone to bear. Her pain became a breeding ground for dark thoughts. I detest the happiness of others. I will rob them of everything they hold to be good and true.
That's some...
Does this story satisfy?
Yes, it is quite to my tastes. Thank you for helping to clear up my confusion.
Huh. That's right. Because without that, none of this would have ever come to light.
She didn't write the letter.
After 10 long years, I'd hoped that the Phantom Weasel would be consigned to the history books by now. Linney. Or should I call you the Phantom Copycat now?
Meu Deus.
You were the one who posted that letter outside the opera house. But why?
Pode tirar? Vixe. Ai, gente, desculpa.
Very sharp, Phantom Weasel. Still as shrewd as ever. Well, no need for me to be coy about it. Our goal was to clear Caesar's name. The most straightforward way to change the public's impression of Caesar was to force the weasel to show themselves. Of course we did. We made it quite clear in the letter, I believe. I shall take from you that which you hold most dear, just as you did to me 10 years ago.
10 years ago? You mean Caesar's... Wait. Oh, I get it. You were those... He taught you magic back then, didn't he? For what, 10 days or something?
Confirmou, né?
And you went to all this...
We remember all our debts, however great or small. 10 years ago, Caesar's reputation was torn to shreds, but we did not forget. And so we came to find you.
And? What exactly did you take from me?
Free? Caesar once told me that even though the world is filled with lies and falsehoods, we must find our own truth. I think that applies to you too. Truth can take many forms. Prized possessions with... Life took many things from you, and those wounds never healed. When they ached unbearably in the dead of night, stealing became your way of numbing the pain.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying that for the last 10 years, you've been living a rather uneventful life. Perhaps that's because you found something other than a life of crime. Back to Lorenzo for a second. He murdered his own master, played along with your act, and took pains to make sure any suspicion would be directed towards him. He knew who you were and the things you'd done, and despite that, he was willing to give everything up for your sake. You're more than just accomplices in murder. You're the only real friends each other has. So but that truth is gone now, and I guarantee you.
Congratulations on your freedom, Gemma.
Your freedom will cost you dearly. From now on, you'll be all alone in a world full of lies and falsehoods. I do hope you'll be able to bear it. You've still got a long life ahead.
Gather round, one and all. The time has now come for the amazing Linney to perform his final... I'm sure you're all wondering...
Linney e Lacrete lacraram na cara do...
A high-altitude escape?
I'm sure you all
da
remember
Gemma.
the magician Caesar. This was the very trick that led to his
Da
fatal
Doninha
fall.
Fantasma.
We have now learned that Caesar was wrongly accused, and that the real weasel has now confessed to their...
Guess that's my cue to leave. Whew. Traveler, Paimon, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. There may be a lot of people watching tonight.
Linney, wait. You two hid a lot from Caesar. He went to his grave without ever knowing your secrets. You don't have to tell lies to end up isolated and alone.
You're wrong. I'm nothing like you.
So,
Like Linney said, when you're ready, let's head outside and watch the...
But what about Gemma?
She'll figure out what's best for her soon enough. Oh, and if you'd like to see Linney after the show...
All right. Well, let...
Caraca, várias revelações, hein?
Magic should be mysterious, surprising, and defy logic. Magic is hard work. Every single movement has to be practiced thousands of times.
It's alright. We're used to that.
We're sorry. You've taught us so much, but we can't tell you the whole truth.
It's okay. Do you still remember what I told you? This world is full of lies and falsehoods. I only hope that one day, you can find your own truth.
What about you? Have you found your truth?
Magic is my truth. I want to perform a magic trick so great that people will always think of me when they talk about it. For a magician, what greater honor could there be?
Look! Behold! Linney is sealed inside the box. Will he manage to escape? 10 years ago, Caesar attempted this very trick, and it was at this precise moment that...
Linney! Watch out!
Mysterious. Surprising. And logic-defying. Isn't that right? This honor belongs to you, Caesar. I'm just sorry it's a little late.
Ai, gente, adorei.
Did you see that? 1 minute he was falling.
How could he
How mysterious. I didn't...
What a heart-stopping magic show! Caesar's name has finally been cleared, and Fontaine's new star
Charlotte.
magician Linney has fulfilled a...
Looks like everyone really loved Linney's grand finale. Paimon doesn't see Linney anywhere. Oh, Lynette said he'd be waiting for us at the usual hunt. Oh, you mean... Yeah, that's probably it. All right, let's go look for him.
Gente, a missão tá legal, assim, mas assim, não acaba nunca. Meu Deus, já tá muito tarde.
Are you all right? Paimon was scared to...
Magic is a performance art. I was honestly a little nervous during the live performance. The thought of... Sometimes, I can't help but wonder what Caesar thought in those final... Did he regret taking Gemma and Lorenzo on? Or... did he believe that it was his own slip-up right until the end?
You know, Paimon's been wanting to ask you about something ever since we were in Caesar's workshop. You learned...
After I joined the House of the Hearth. To be honest, Lynette and I had an agenda when we approached him. I told you about my past before, remember? As a young boy, I survived, but I quickly realized that observation alone could only get me so far. What I needed to learn how to improve my sleight of hand. We were gifted enough that we'd made some progress by ourselves. But without proper guidance from a professional magician...
So that's why you saw...
Yes. We figured there was no harm in asking. But in all, we only spent 10 short days together, but he was... For instance, when he asked why I wanted to learn magic... But in truth, there was already a lot more to the story by then. After being taken in by an aristocrat for our magic talent, then betrayed... What amazed me was how the lie escaped my lips even as I was hesitating over whether to tell him the truth. Trust is a beautiful thing. Sad...
Linney...
Still worried about the way I feel? But don't worry, I'm used to it now. From the mansions of the elite to the house of the... After Caesar went on tour, we became busy with our missions. The next we heard of him was that he'd fallen to his death, and was now that night, I remembered his smile. But as I lay there, I didn't know what to say to him. To keep secrets is to put up walls. The longer you keep them up, the less you let people in. Then, one day, you look around and realize your life is like an empty auditorium after a show. You only realize how much someone really meant to you when you lose them completely. That's why I was so confident this would hurt Gemma.
Yeah, cheer up. We've had to say our fair share of delicious food, fun toys, and the traveler by my side. Paimon just needs to focus on things like this, and all the unhappy stuff goes right out the window. You know, traveler, Doesn't that kind of make you Paimon's truth?
Exactly. It's the same for me and Lynette. We are the truest thing each other has in the world, and nothing... Life has taken plenty from us, like it did from Gemma. But at least it left us with each other. That's why the darkness never consumed me, and why it never will. Maybe we live in the shadows too, but we remember every precious ray of light that shines through. Alright, time to lighten this conversation up a little. What did you think of the...
It was amazing! Paimon just wishes we hadn't been so distracted with the Gemma situation. Linney?
Whoa, that's a bit of a tall order, I'm afraid. The show's just finished, so my sleeves are decidedly
Aw, come on! Surely you can think of something.
Oh, alright then. I'll give it a go, but watch closely. I have a flower in my hand.
You liar! There's nothing in your hand!
Huh? My goodness, you're right. But I could have sworn I brought one.
3, 2, 1.
Now, have another look
hidrópolis
around.
ali, vocês viram?
Maybe the flowers appeared somewhere else.
Really? Let's see.
Oh.
Wow, there it is! Oh, this is a different flower from the last time, right? This one's called, but more importantly, Paimon has to know.
Well, if you want to learn magic, you'll have to start by addressing me as teacher.
Fine. Please, teacher, please.
Since you asked so nicely, I'll share one little tip with you.
Is that it?
Look at the time. We shouldn't linger here too long. Thanks again for coming to see my show. I bid you both good night. I look forward to seeing you again.
Shall we head back now too? Oh, Paimon can't wait to read the Steambird tomorrow. Let's head to the Steambird's offices tomorrow morning and see what we can find out.
Prontinho, terminamos. Nossa, ainda tem coisa. Minhas mensagens não chegaram. Ah, na Twitch? O que você falou? Eu só recebi o final já. Só isso.
Every journey has its final day. Don't rush.
Que era bonitinho o
I'm
final
very
do...
sorry, Charlotte, but
Sim,
my
eu também
sister and I are
gostei.
quite...
Oh, please, Linney, I'll only take a moment of your time. If you
Eu também
would be so
gostei,
kind.
hein?
Huh? What's happening here?
I spent all night writing my piece about the Phantom Weasel, but just as dawn broke, I suddenly received news that Caesar's fiancée, Gemma, had contacted the guards, and
that was
Ah, ela se confessou. Ah,
Too late,
entendi.
bro.
É uma boa isso, pelo menos, né?
That was quick, you say.
Abrindo e
Sounds like I've
fechando
got
o
some
app.
catching up.
Aha! My instincts did not lead me astray. You do.
Maybe watching my high-altitude escape trick reminded her of a better...
Huh. Okay, then. Wait, no. Oh, I remember now! You and Gemma were nowhere to be found after the quick-fire question! Where did you all go?
Oh, we went to the cemetery and lived. Actually, glad you mentioned it, because that reminds...
What? I don't recall ever having received a rainbow rose from...
No, I just...
What? What now? This is...
Seems like this interview wasn't meant to be. Forgive my persistence, but when there's explosive news waiting to be... Apparently, one of the things she said to the guards was that her final wish is to see Lorenzo one last time. Alright, I guess I'll leave you to continue...
Ah, gente, eu gostei da Charlotte.
Lynette?
Don't worry, I wasn't angry.
Oh, really?
Phew. You and me both, Paimon.
Please, take good care of that rain. I'd be really upset if...
Ah, gostei. Gostei. Bom, gente, vou fazer aqui uma raid para algum canal, tá? Eu finalizo a live agora, ok? E até amanhã, né? Se pá, eu faço uma live. à tarde, de tarde pra noite. Tá bom? Tchau, tchau. Até a próxima. Já vou fazer a raid já.
Where do you want to go next? If you'd like to see Liyue's tourist spots, I have a few references.
I've never seen anything like it. I simply could not believe it.
It should be fine. I'm sure it'll get resolved.
Osmanthus wine.